The video you're watching behind me right now was created on the OpenArt platform using the new Kling O1 model and their start and end frame feature, and then they're all strung together to create an animation. Welcome back to the channel where we discuss the creative uses of AI. If you've never played with this technique before, I just want to show you how easy it is to do here and how much fun it can be and how creative you can get with it. In my case, I sort of sidestepped creativity and went right to ChatGPT and asked for some help creating a prompt. I did something that I recommend to just about everybody who wants to get up and running with any of these video models well, and that is that I went to ChatGPT and said, research this stuff and teach me how to prompt it properly. This way I know I'm going to get the best prompts for any demonstration purposes and just for my own creative work. And I can be very specific on the type of video I want. If I want specific camera angles worked in there, I don't have to even figure that out. I can just tell it I want it to do that. I'm going to show you an example of that in just a minute because we're going to do one together after I briefly just fly through how I did the first one, and then we're going to get into it and actually do another one. And that one will be completely produced here in the OpenArt platform. So I asked it to come up with a 12 image sequence that would work well as a demonstration of the start and end frame, showing how wonderfully it does what it does. And what it gave me was prompts for a start and an end frame, plus the video prompt to give it the proper motion when I put it in the start and end frame process. So I'd go in, copy the prompt, come over here to the Flux 2 Pro model. In this case, you can choose whichever one you like. And then I just started generating these images. I did 2 of each just so I'd have choices. So this was the first prompt here, a long empty marble corridor with a strawberry floating in it. And then it was just closer, and then it started giving me prompts about the strawberry surface seamlessly transforms into a sprawling alien desert. And then we have a cat appear, and basically it walks through its own little progression and it renders out all of these images. So then by the end of it, I have, in this case, 24 images to choose for the 12 I want to create the sequence. So I click the video tab and I choose image to video. I'm going to choose the Kling O1 model, and it's already set up for start and end frames. In this case, I chose this one image of the strawberry as the start frame, and then for the end frame, I chose the image that I wanted as the closer up version. In this particular case, I didn't even use the prompts it gave me for some reason. I just said, the scene fluidly morphs as the imagery changes. That is the prompt for every single one of these videos in terms of the animation. That's all I did was just say, hey, make this look cool, is in essence what I did. But for our next example, I'm going to give it more specific directions. I'm definitely going to use the prompt it gives me because I want to direct the camera more than this one, because as you saw, this is a pretty static shot. So I just went through, generated all of these images, did the start and end frame process, which I'm going to demonstrate more completely in just a minute here. So you'll see, I know I'm rushing through it now. And then for this example, I actually downloaded each of the video clips. I edited them together in my own video editor, put my own music on there, and then put captions on there. But there's a lot you can do right here within the OpenArt platform in terms of putting this together with music and stringing them all together. That's what I'm going to do right after you watch this whole sequence from beginning to end without me being in front of it or talking over it.
Every story begins small. A spark that refuses to stay still. Follow it and the world shifts. Familiar things melt into the unknown. Strange guardians appear, watching quietly. Even an eye becomes a doorway. New paths rise from nowhere. A key waits at the top. Turn it and the sky opens. A sea rushes through, bending reality. A single glance pulls us forward. Cities reshape themselves to meet us. Time softens and reveals the truth. This is the heart of Doyle Media, where imagination runs and reality follows.
So I thought that was a really cool example of just fluidity between motions and scenes and stuff like that. But now I want to create something that is a fly-through, that has way more camera animation and motion, and also a little bit more weird, and throw some creatures in there and stuff. Before recording this video, I had prompted it for a 6-image sequence that did a fly-through, but then I decided I wanted to add the creature stuff and make it just a little bit more fantastical. So I had it do it again. But the prompt I said is revisit the 6-shot morph fly-through. That is not easy to say, my friends. I want to make sure that this fly-through contains at least one section where there are creatures crawling around that look strange, bioluminescent, and beautiful. The progression of imagery doesn't necessarily need to make sense, but it needs to be dazzling. And if possible, I'd like to get the camera fly through to make turns to the left and right at times and not just fly through straight. So here it confirmed that it understands. And so what we're going to do is just duplicate the exact same process I did before, except I'm going to do it in real time right now and I don't know what's going to happen. So we're just going to do an experiment and then you'll actually get to see me do the process. I'll try and piece this together so that it's not boring for you to look at, but basically we've got 3 tabs open here. We've got the Flux Pro, which is what I'm using to generate these images because I just liked the way it worked the first time. And we've got the generator with Kling 01 chosen, ready with start and stop frames. You can see I'm still set up with that last project, right? And then I have my prompts that were generated here with a chat's help. With shot 1, we've got a root spire gateway. I don't even take the time to read these things because I want to be surprised actually. So all I'm doing is copying the prompt, going over to Flux Pro, popping it in there, making sure I've got the cinematic aspect ratio that I want. I always generate at least 2 images, so I have some choices and just go. And oh, wait a minute, I need to delete those reference images from before and do that again. And then while that's happening, I just pop right over here and get the end frame going. Just change that, get that going. And I'm just going down the list because the start frame in the second shot is just going to be the end frame. So from this point on, I'm just copying the end frame and we'll use the video prompt later when we are actually doing the video part. So we'll go back over here. We've already got our images coming in here. So now we'll get this end frame going and then we'll just scroll down here. Before I did 12 of these things, it took a long time. So copy, paste that in there, go. See, it's actually a really smooth and easy process over here. Get here in shot 4, back over, paste that, get that going, and the end frame here. And then shot 5, monolith sky, and finally shot 6, a swirling vortex of white. But now I'm looking at what's been generated here. It's going to be interesting because they are pretty dramatically different pictures from each other, but that's what makes this so fun. So now we're ready with the images. We can go ahead and get this started here. We'll scroll back up to shot 1 and get the first prompt for the transition, and basically we're just doing cut and paste again. But first we need to go and choose the start frame, so we can just go to our history, and now we'll scroll down. See, we've got them nice and in pairs. So we have 2 choices here. We just choose which one we think is most interesting. I'm going to go with this one at this point, confirm, and then for the end frame we will go back to history, scroll down, and choose from one of these. Which one? I think the ones that are big. I don't know why. They're both going to be cool. So now it's time to paste in the prompt. In this case, I have a very specific prompt because I'm hoping that it will make my right and left turns and all that stuff based on the prompt. Before, my prompt was just it morphed seamlessly from one scene to the other and I didn't change it individually. So I'll go ahead and stick with the default duration of 5 seconds. We do not need to do 10 seconds between these things. And once I get that going, now we're going to get back into overdrive here. We're going to click this button here to switch. Now we're ready to receive a new end frame. So we're going to scroll down and now we're going to be choosing from this one or that one. This looks like mostly jellyfish. This looks like it has, I guess they're both jellyfish. I'll go with this one. It's got this ceiling here. We'll just see what happens. And then we're going to go back and get the appropriate prompt for that. This is shot 2. As the camera flies to the right, I see it starting there. So hopefully that's a good sign. We'll replace that prompt there. Now we go click these arrows again and get the next end frame in our sequence, which is going to be chosen from here. Which one will I choose? I think this one. Going with the second choices a lot. And then go get the prompt for shot 3 and paste this in here and get that going. I have very often forgotten to hit the create after I do that. So now we'll flip this again. We'll go back to history. And now we get to choose one of these. They're both so interesting in their own way. Which one are you rooting for? Some of you want me to go over here just to even things out, but some of you like the aesthetics of this one better. I'm going to go with this one. Oh my God, I don't know. My gut said to go with the first one, and then at the last second I didn't. All right, let's go back over here. We'll get this camera direction in here and get that going. Flip it one more time. Go back to history. And now we are here. I will go over here this time. Confirm, go get the prompt, plug it in, get it going, flip it. Go to history. Now we're here. We'll stay over here and get the prompt. Now to do something interesting with these, at this point we need to download these and put them together in our own editor. We could use OpenArt's editor here by going to Story and clicking on Open Editor. We can add all the videos here in order. We want this one, we want this one, and this one, this one, and we're still waiting on this one. Go ahead and confirm this one. We'll add that one in just a second. All right, we got that last one done, and we'll add that in there. And now we just need to drag these into the timeline here in order. So we know that's the first one, and then that one flies into this one. And I need to check. I guess this goes into that one. And then what's at the end of this? So that's going to go there, and then so that's going to go here, and then finally the last one drops there. Let's see if we can add some music. So I've uploaded this MP3 file, and I'm going to drag it onto the timeline here underneath the video, line it up to the beginning. I'm scrolling out so I can change the length of it, take it down to match the length of the video. So now we got a music track behind it. Let's just watch the whole thing, and then we'll comment on it. Now, I realized after I just recorded that section that I actually forgot a very important part of the technique. It gave us a result as I did it, but the way that I did the strawberry thing was different. So I've crafted another one, and this time the camera's going to go through the underbrush of the Amazon rainforest and find even more creature-like things. But instead of using brand new prompts for every image, we want to edit one of the images using the editing capability of Flux Pro so that the scene is actually an edit of this one and not an entirely different image. It should make the transitions way more natural and the images look more similar and like they belong to each other. So what I would do here in this case, we've got the prompt that created the very first image here, and then we have the in-frame prompt here. So instead of just deleting this and just pasting that in and hitting go, I'm going to use one of these past two images as a reference image. In this case, I'm going to use this one. So now when I generate this prompt here, it is an edit of this one, and then I wait for this to go so that my next iteration will be a variation of whatever I choose between here. So I'll go ahead and get the next prompt for the next frame here, just like I did before. I'll go back over here and I'll have it ready in there, and now I'm just waiting for these to render so I can choose one. I'll go ahead and get rid of this, and then I just choose which one of these I want to use next. I'll go ahead and use this more lush one here. So I will choose history and just choose this here and confirm, then run the prompt and jump ahead and get the next one here. So I've got the prompt, go back, plug it in, we'll get rid of this. We don't have to delete it, but deleting helps me remember that in fact, it is in fact waiting for a change. So now the edit that's going to come out of here is based on this image and not just from scratch. So we got much more color going on here. So I'm going to choose that one as the image that we want to modify. So history, and choose this one here, and then run the prompt. Go back over, get the next one, paste it in, and wait. All right, so I'll go to history and choose, I'm gonna go with the one here with the weird pools. Go get the next prompt, paste it in there, and all right, now I'm seeing my lizards. This is what I wanted. So go to history and choose this one here, and we're on our last shot here. Paste that in, and get ready to choose. This one seems to have stalled out. I'm going to run this prompt again just to get more choices than just the one, just in case, because this image is so similar to this one. This is more like what I'm looking for. Yes, see, that's like, this almost seems like a misprompt. This is way more what the prompt is going for. Okay, so that was the last frame. So now we're just going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to go over here to the video tab, go to create, and we've already got Kling here. We just clear this out. Let's go back in history. Here's our first one. It is the one we chose. It's not critical that we choose the exact same ones, but the images that we edited were based on specific images, so it's probably good that we choose that one. So now let's choose the in frame. We chose this one this time. Confirm. We'll go back to chat and get the transition prompt. Plug that in here, and then we'll flip this just like before, and we'll get our next in frame for the next part of the series, which was this one here. We'll confirm that. We'll go get the prompt, drop it in here, and get that going. Flip this. Again, go to history. We chose the one with the pools. Go get the prompt, paste it in there, let it go. Flip it, get the next image, which was this one here. Grab the prompt, paste it in, let it go. Oh, I see. No, I didn't miss one. So I got a little confused. That spiral-shaped shelter made of twisted reeds, that's part of it. So I definitely want to add that in there. So let's go back and I'll choose this one here. It's fine. We'll use the proper prompt. I just lost track again because I was going too fast. All right, get that going, flip it, and finally our last image here with the heart. Get it in there and create. And now I'm going to do one more thing and use the very first starting frame we did as the end frame, so this whole thing becomes a loop. So I go back into history, scroll all the way back to the very first image we chose, which was this one. And here I will just say scene morphs in a beautiful seamless transition just to get us from A to B here and get that going. Now you can see we've already got some of our videos done, so we can go over to the story editor already if we want to and click on editor and add these images. Again, we're adding from history. All right, we've got them all in here, so we'll just drag them in, and when the last frame here is going to inform us of what the next video clip is. So we can just move this to the end and say, okay, now we need this one here, move this to the end, and say, okay, we need this one here, move this to the end, need this one here, and then this one, and then finally the heart. For now, I'm just going to use the same music track as we used before. Just drag that on there, line it up so that it ends at the same time. We have fade in and fade out controls for the audio. You can see the little envelope change down there as I do that. And let's take a peek at it. Great, so we've got a perfect loop video there with lots of variety and a different technique for generating these starting and end frames. So I think it's a super nice result. Maybe it stopped a little bit too much in some places, and I can figure out a way to prompt around that so it does not seem to stall between there and the motion is more fluid. But you can see the concept here and how easy it is to create these seamless landscapes and put them all together right here in the OpenArt platform. So I just want to share that little tip and technique with you if you wanted to play with the start and end frames of the Kling 01 model. If this is the type of stuff you do like to learn about, well, why not subscribe to the channel? Because these are the tools we focus on all the time.
If you subscribe now, I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you do not, I will look for you. I will find you. And I